Welcome back to the Bottom Line Up Front, an Artorias podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Stefano, the Chief Intelligence Officer of Artorias. And today we're actually hosting a special podcast episode to go over a new Artorias product called SITREP. SITREP is an app that will be downloadable on Apple and Google for all users, and it's designed to be a consumer application for everybody around the world to receive open source intelligence and news from all around the world. The application will be launched soon, and we hope with this episode to give you a good summary on what we provide to offer. But as the title of our episode is called, Bluff, here's the bottom line up front of the app. If you're interested in news, intelligence, and wanting to know where the next crisis might be, or just generally interested on any information from any country around the world, SITREP is designed for you. You are able to see alerts from around the world, any country of your choice, and all the countries of your choice. And the application will ensure that you are informed for today and tomorrow and for any future event that might arise.
So, Stefano, how do you see SITREP's application of open source intelligence or OSINT improving the ease of access, streamlining collection, and improving the synthesis of information for clients or individuals?
Right. So that's the thing that we really wanted to strive. And I think what differentiates us is in various aspects to our competitors. I think the first and foremost aspect is that this application will only cost $9.99 a month, basically less than a subscription for most New York Times or Washington Post or any news organization's monthly subscription base. The SITREP app will cost less than that. And what really differentiates us is there's multiple aspects. One is quality of the information. I think for people who are passionate about OSINT, about news, and about intelligence and information, really gear towards social media. And they try to get the latest information from people there. But there's always going to be issues with that. Number one, a lot of the accounts and informations are either limited in what they cover, so they might focus on a specific topic, they might focus on a specific region. So, for example, myself, I'm All Source News and I cover cartels, right? I don't talk about the situation generally on Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, China, Taiwan, and so individuals have to find their own information, right? And so, from a quantity point of view, it's kind of hard. You have to follow multiple counts. You're based on algorithms. You might be influenced by how a social media company might be pushing information or where you get it and how you follow. SITREP breaks all that. It gives you, in the app, you basically can see the world right there. And you have a choice. You can go to every individual country and just click on it and get all the latest news pushed to you directly for a very affordable price. Again, $9.99. And it also is an application that prioritizes intelligence. So either in the country that you select or in the general feed, you can tailor it and see if you just want all information or you just want critical high alert that's sent to you. And so the quantity and the ease of access is key. But another aspect is the quality of the information. Artorias thrives in ensuring that the information that the AI gets and disseminates and analyzes is legitimate. It is reliable sources that gives you the information. Now, the information provided and the AI will ensure that you have a clear understanding where the source is. Because a lot of times it is important to highlight that you might get information from a state news organization that might have a messaging aspect. Our app will let you know when that happens. But that's the role of open source intelligence. You have very reliable sources that it tracks on millions of data sets to ensure that it gives you an accurate picture. Another feature that's very important, though, for the average consumer, let's say you don't have time to go through every feed and alert that goes through because of the quantity of information that goes there. The other aspect that we have is that the application will ensure that you have a daily summary for each individual country. You can click on the country and you don't have to go through all the feeds, or you can. But if you want a synthesized summary on the key events that happen in that country, you just click on the daily summary and it lays it out. And so for the average consumer that is concerned about fake news, about algorithms, about reliability, about quantity, or just simply doesn't have the time to really search, or maybe doesn't know how to access and do open source intelligence, this is the app for you. And for larger clients like corporations and clients, this is an excellent tool to really change and understand how your business can operate in a very complex world. And again, our competitors generally charge tens of thousands of dollars for a feature that we think basically cuts out millions and millions of prospective people that are just interested or require this information to make informed decisions. It could be a political decision, it could be a business, it could be a travel, it could be whatever area of focus that you have. This application is affordable, it gives you quantity, and it gives you quality.
And so I know we've been doing this podcast for a while at this point. And in the intro, we always say that this is an Artorias podcast. Can you expand on what Artorias is? Because I don't think we've ever actually done that.
Yeah, so Artorias is a company that was. I like to tell it to people who don't know. Artorias is an AI company, an intelligence-driven AI company that was built by OSINTers that are focused on OSINTs. Everybody in the team has, in one way, shape, or form, years and years and years of experience in OSINTs. Myself, as I always alluded to, I do Mexican cartels. I really try to thrive to focus on that. And where Artorias has really done a lot is focusing on, you know, let's say the businesses, the government think tanks, and we have agreements. Like for example, we have an announcement with the Middle Eastern Forum, a key think tank that focuses on the Middle East and inform policymakers, and a lot of our products information gets sent to them. But we realized that we were falling into this trap, and it's kind of the trap of AI. And Artorias is designed for also the average consumer. And we believed thoroughly that Artorias can revolutionize AI, data aggregation, information, summarize, and predictive analysis. But very importantly, it can revolutionize it for even the average consumer. Because if you really look into how AI is set up, it really is tailored to the top 1%. It's very expensive, and it really limits its reach to large segments of people. There's a lot of studies, a lot of articles that you can read, and how a lot of AI companies that focus on this and any aspect they have, especially in the information aggregation, dissemination, and intelligence, they're geared towards people that are capable of paying tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars every year to large corporations that basically leave out 99% of the population. And Artorias wants to break that. Artorias believes in the democratization of AI. It believes in the democratization of OSINT. And it truly believes that there are millions and millions of people that can leverage AI for their day to day use, either to stay informed or to make decisions. And I think that's what Artorias does. We are a company that thrives on democratizing AI.
Well, and to that point, because I've used a number of AI products myself, and the way you formulate a question, or whatever that prompt is that you put in, becomes very important. And so people have to have a baseline understanding of whatever they are actually asking the AI to produce. And with this, it seems to be one of those things where all of that is done on the back end, and the information is relevant and targeted to the consumer based on whichever countries they're most interested in. And I think that's one of the things that is a little bit groundbreaking about this, or that is groundbreaking about this.
Yeah, and I think you bring up an excellent point. And that is a phenomenal point that you bring up. SITREP, straight up, you don't have to put any prompt. You don't need to ask the AI any questions. It will give you the news directly from those countries. And I think there's one aspect that you highlighted. Yes, people are going to have a lot of focus on key countries, right? Like Russia, Ukraine, maybe the situation with Israel and Gaza, maybe China and Taiwan or the Korean Peninsula. But what I think SITREP does, because it's so easily accessible, it's so easy to use. It's literally a globe, and you have your feed that gives you all the alerts depending on importance and in the country. Or you can go directly to a country and see all the latest news or just read the daily summary. What SITREP is going to do is it's going to enable you to learn about issues that maybe you're not familiar with, right? Matt, you and I have a lot of conversations about the Bluff podcast, and we think we need to focus on crises that generally don't get that much coverage, right? We have a whole segment called Cartel Corner that focuses on the internal dynamics of Mexican cartels or organized crime and gangs in the Western Hemisphere. We had a very in-depth conversation on China, Taiwan, and a very niche focus. Obviously, the situation in the Middle East, but more importantly, also in Africa. I think it's fair to say that when we're looking at, let's say, in the United States or even in Europe or anywhere around the world, generally the news that you're going to receive is from your own country, right? The United States, let's say CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and you're looking at an international situation. They're going to tailor that information for the American consumer and what might they believe affects directly the American people or our national security, economic policy, or whatever area that you leverage that impacts Americans. What SITREP does is it gives you that information without asking. You don't have to wait on a reporter or a news article, or you don't have to ask a prompt to give the information. All the information is there for you. And I think what that's going to do is going to enable a lot of people to be better informed about situations that are happening that they might never been aware of. I mean, we've talked about in our episode the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a perfect example. And that's something that you and I talk a lot, that how a lot of times the Western media does a very poor job of covering it. And if they do, it's very basic top cover and not that much depth analysis. And our podcast and the guests we invite, we try to ensure that we give you that in-depth conversation. The same with cartels, right? Rarely do you have a news organization that will go down to the specifics of the cartels and the factions and the way they operate. SITREP already does that, right? SITREP has a clear understanding, for example, in the cartel situation of all the cartels and the factions and the regions and where they operate, right? In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the same, right, with the M23 rebels. And so it's just a tool that you can leverage to be informed. And one of the interesting aspects that we made sure about to include is we added a feature called the watch list. And watch list, what it does is it enables you to activate a topic or a country that you're interested, and you will get a notification when there's a high alert impacting that country. So let's say, for example, I have obviously Mexico because I use it to cover cartels. So anytime there's a high alert that is pushed via SITREP, I get a notification. And I can tell you one thing, Matthew, that this app, SITREP, has been vital for me in having a better understanding of what's going on in Mexican cartels and what's going on in Mexico. I mean, the amount of information that gets pushed daily related to cartels is astronomical. And it's hard for me to look at all the different sources and analyze it and trying to find it or look for it. I mean, all the sources that I use, I probably have thousands of notifications. It's impossible for me to track every single one of them and analyze and read it. With SITREP, that it does it all for me, and it gives me a beautiful summary, and all I have to do is read it, and I'm informed already about that situation. And I think that's something that's key. The watch list factor will empower the consumer to inform you of where you want alerts to get sent. It will tailor that information directly towards you and make sure that you are aware of the latest information of the countries that you selected for watch list.
And that's the other thing. So when we're talking about like a family office, the very ultra high network folks, before they travel, they get these types of reports put together for them. And it seems like this product is going to be able to synthesize the stuff that they pay thousands of dollars for prior to a trip. So if you're planning on going to Europe, or if you're planning a trip to um, Southeast Asia, it makes sense that you would want to do a little bit of research beforehand. And so it's not it's not just, tracking conflict in places that, might not affect everyone's day to day, but this type of information can be very useful. And there is a reason why a lot of people pay money to understand the, everyday ins and outs of the political climate and conflict and potential conflict in these places. So I do think that there's a value to this information that it's not something that people normally have access to.
And I think that's a perfect example, the travel. Absolutely. And the beauty of the AI we have and the proprietary, information and technology that we use, it learns, it adapts, and it picks up on the latest changes, right? So if you're traveling to a new country, let's say you're traveling to somewhere in South America, right? It will give you all what used to be only available, as you said, to high net worth individuals. I would pay astronomical amount of money for that same information report is available for you for just $9.99 a month, right? And the key thing is it's always accessible to you. So if there's a crisis and a change, the AI will pick it up and it will learn and adapt and summarize that information and give you that access so you're better informed and adaptable and you don't have to wait on a third party to send you an email notifying you of a change. The information is right there for you, and it helps you. And it could be in a situation where it's just a normal leisure travel, but maybe a crisis happens while you're there. Well, you will be informed with SITREP, and that will help you make better decisions. The utilization of this app is unlimited, and the key aspect though is what I said earlier: is the democratization of AI and OSINT. And I think that is something that we wanted to ensure that our users had and our subscribers had, because that is a key tool that will really revolutionize how information, news, and intelligence is disseminated and received. And we think SITREP is a key to that.
And so I guess last question, other than SitRep and the excellent Bluff podcast, what else do you guys offer?
Yeah, so we do offer other items and tools. We do have, as mentioned, we do have the SITREP is tailored directly for information directly for countries and key aspects around the world. But other things is we do data aggregation, analysis, and assessment on a wide range of topic. It can be uh, issues of medical health, for example. We have data streams directly geared towards medical emergencies in certain parts of the world. We have our AI also has data streams directly for businesses that are interested in either macro or microeconomics. It can be tailored to gathering information for even marketing in aspects. So if there's a crisis, a specific brand that might have a good or bad topic of conversation that might be concerning to them, we have our AI that can able to generate those feeds. We obviously do conflicts as well. We have feeds directly for geopolitical risks and information is synthesized, and it does. We have instant alerts, we have daily alerts, we have hourly alerts. Whatever the requirement is, we can do weekly, monthly, and also we provide summaries of all the latest information that is disseminated. SITREP is going to be designed to provide a daily summary and then instant alerts. So if a news item populates and the AI picks it up, it will, and it's publicly available, it will push that through the SITREP. But if you want tailored information and aggregation and analysis and summaries, we are also geared towards that in any topic. Nothing is out of topic for us. It can be medical, economic, political, crime, etc. Other products that we offer, for example, is sentiment analysis. In other words, we are able to do analysis via social media commentary that might give you an understanding of, let's say, a specific person or product or brand or company. What is social media and how they're talking about you? Are they giving you positive comments? Are they giving you neutral comments? Are they giving you negative topics? Is there something that users are talking about that maybe you weren't aware of, and it's just in very niche areas for you to find and focus on and discover, and that's our sentiment analysis. Another tool that we also have is called Pythia, which is our predictive analysis and is designed to give you an idea of, depending on your requirements. Let's say we have Pythia does analysis on Russia, Ukraine, and we provide like an intelligence reports leveraging open source. And Pythia gives you an AI report of what anticipates the next week of the Russia-Ukraine war might happen in a 7-day time period, saying, the likelihood of where the offensive operation is going to happen, defensive operations, strikes, etc. And that's what we call Pythia is our predictive analysis, and it tailors it to your requirements. We also can do it for macroeconomics and say, let's say, where do we anticipate, for example, interest rates might be in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, gathering all macro and microeconomic data. And so that's Pythia is our predictive analysis tool. Pythia also provides um, threat assessment. So for large venues or even travel, that's something we talked about earlier. It can give you a threat assessment of saying what's the most likely threats that you will encounter on all topics, and then more importantly, it will give you recommendations of how to address it and how to mitigate any possible threat. And so those are some of the tools that we offer as Artorias, and we are very excited that SITREP will be added into this toolbox for the average consumer and for any businesses that might be interested. But it joins a large suite of offerings that we have, from data aggregation, analysis, summary, predictive analysis, and sentiment analysis. And now we have SITREP.
Excellent. Well, I think that pretty much covers all of the questions I had around this topic. Um, this has been the bottom line up front. Thank you so much, Stefano, for joining us, and I'm very excited to see more on this app and this platform and watch it as it develops.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for having me. We are very excited, and we hope that everybody who when the app launches and they download it, they're excited as us because we truly believe that this will revolutionize AI intelligence and summaries.
Thanks for joining us, Stefano. This has been an update from the bottom line up front, an Artorias podcast. Speaking of Artorias, make sure you check out that SITREP app coming soon, and we will speak to you next week.